Well, I'm 10 months out at the moment. I probably should have booked this 2 to 3 months ago. I started to panic a little bit and I was like, oh, better get this sorted.
Have you done much research? Are you planning to have a photographer? Are you going to do it yourself? What are you thinking in regards to photography and video?
So we'll definitely have a photographer. I've been definitely researching photographers and sort of who I like and what I wanted. What we're sort of looking for is someone that does more sort of candid photos. I didn't want to have 4 hours of like pose photos. I couldn't think of anything worse. I think it's also about connecting with someone as well. So finding someone you like, looking on their Instagram, Facebook, just to sort of see what you like. So I have been looking at people's websites and seeing what weddings they've done. Have they done weddings in those particular locations, like on the beach or park or whatever it is? So lots of research first before I sort of pick someone.
Are you struggling to choose somebody, or what's been your biggest issue so far?
This has been my hardest part through the whole planning process. I think because, as you said, there probably is too much to choose from.
Yeah.
And it's working out who you think is good and who you don't think is good. And
there's a big price range, isn't there?
Oh,
you know, you can find somebody for a few thousand up to 20, 30.
I think you have to go in with sort of a range of pricing that you want to kind of spend and how you feel comfortable, because some of these prices, they're up to like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 just for photography. And not that I am saying that that's not worth it, but for my budget, like some of them are nearly half my budget for my venue. I don't want to skim on this part either. I want to definitely get someone good and do good photos, because you want to look back on them. But how many times are you going to keep looking at those photos? Like, you've been married for how many years? Do you get the album out every year and look at them?
Oh, I get it out weekly.
No, you don't. No, we've got Instagram and Facebook, so I think, posting them on there, everyone likes that as well. But I want more candid photos of family and friends and all that sort of thing as well as photos of us. But if
I was personally going to do it again, obviously I'd still have a photographer,
of course.
But I would probably have more. We didn't have video back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have had video then, but we didn't see the importance of that. But I definitely see more importance in that now. I think that's something you'd probably watch more often than look at photo albums.
Yeah.
Photos are really important because that's how you remember the day. Your
is.
memory will fade, but those will help you
remember what happened on that day. And especially as a bride and groom, you're not in the location of everyone all the time. So, it's not until you look back at the photos that you can see what people were doing when you weren't in the room, or probably won't even remember half the night. It'll go so quickly.
That's
so to
right.
have photos to look back on and go, oh, how awesome was this, this, they were doing this, and this is the photos from, like, it's just something to look on to later on.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about video? Are you doing video or just photography? Or
We're doing both. I definitely want a video. I want to watch a video. I think it'd be awesome. But I've asked someone that I know personally to do the video, which may be a little bit cheaper than going through someone I don't. But we definitely will have a video. And it will just need to be like a small little 2 or 3 minute video. It doesn't need to be crazy long, but just something for us to show what the actual day and night was like.
And because, from a video point of view, then you'll be able to see people
actually see people having
being
fun,
silly on the
just
dance
in a photo.
floor, or grandma dancing on the table, or it's going to help with those sorts of things.
So I think you definitely need both, but it's just working out where your budget sits for both. Like, there's lots of companies that do both, so you can do photography and videography with the one company, which I think if you are looking at that option, I think it may be best because they work together quite well. They know each other, they work together all the time. I think it would be a better option, but there is so many options out there. It's endless.
So if somebody's getting married and they're struggling in the same way to find a photographer, is there anything you've come across yet to make it a little bit easier at this point? Or
I think also asking suppliers. So I, of course, already know a couple of people in the industry, so asking those people for recommendations. I asked my florist who she had used in the past or who she knew was good, because these guys work with photographers every weekend. They know these people, they see them at all these different functions, so they have more of an idea than I did on videography and photography.
So do you feel the need to meet the photographer before you book somebody? Because there are companies out there, photography companies, that have multiple photographers working for them, and so they'll book you in, but you might not necessarily get the person that you're dealing with. Is that important to you, or you're not fussed? Or
it's a bit hard at the moment. Most people aren't doing appointments, so once we do appointments, I probably will go meet with our photographer. I don't feel like I have to meet someone in person if I think that their work is good. I think photography, if you're looking at their Instagram and their Facebook and their website, you get a pretty good idea through their photos and what they're like. So, you have to click with that person, of course. I spoke to our photographer on the phone, got along with her. She's definitely our type of person, so it seemed quite easy. So I think it's also that as well.
So have you actually booked somebody yet, or?
I haven't actually locked it in, but she's got to send me the contract so I can go through it all and then pay the deposit.
And so what would make you choose this particular photographer then? Is it because it's a recommendation, or?
Probably most over recommendation, and because I trust my florist to give me the recommendations that she knows someone.
And so in your research, have you felt the experience of that photographer, if they've got 10 years over somebody who's got 5 years, has that played any impact on whether you would choose that person?
Not really, to be honest. I don't like to pick people on that particular how long they've been in business for, because I don't think that it means if you've been in the business for 20 years that you're any better than someone's been in 5. Like, I think it's all about what your work is and what your photos are like, and is it what I want. Like, I think sometimes there's lots of photographers that do lots of black and white and quite sort of, they make them quite dark sort of images, where the photographer that we've chosen does everything quite vibrant, and because we're going with vibrant colours, it was good, and everything looks quite bright and colourful and exciting. It's amazing. Like, I just love all the colours and vibrancy of it.
So obviously the photos that they've taken for previous weddings has played a big impact on your choice.
Yeah, because we're going to do something quite, like, we're not doing a really formal black and white themed wedding, we're doing something quite bright and colourful, so I want to capture that as well. I don't want to dull it down. Yeah.
What would you recommend as far as how far in advance to book your photographer?
Well, I'm 10 months out at the moment. I probably should have booked this 2 to 3 months ago. So let's say 12 months out. I think you'd be probably quite safe. If you've got someone in particular that you really, really want to use, I'd book them as soon as you know you're going to get married.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wait any longer. I think because if you've got your heart set on one particular supplier, they may be booked for your day, so you're looking for
especially if
else.
they're, in photographer's case, if they're just a one-person business.
So I didn't have one particular person I wanted to book. I went through the whole channels of looking at other businesses and seeing sort of who was available. So lots of them are booked. I started to panic a little bit. I was like, oh, better get this sorted.
Yeah, you nearly had one of your friends doing the photography on their phone.
Yeah,